Alright. The fifth time or however many times I've done this is the charm. Hey, what's up? Yada yada, whatever. I haven't thought of an intro. I don't care. So, earlier today and last night, I decided I was going to try and make an entire video within the rewind mod on Lunar Client. Now, I'm sure someone has done this before, but I haven't seen it, so I'm still going to call myself original and creative, even though it's the most basic thing you could do. And, as you could tell by this, I had some issues. And by the title, probably too. So I have two clips here. This is gonna be really short. One's 4 minutes long. We probably won't even go through all of it. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about this. And this first one actually does have some audio, so I will play that, and I'll interject wherever. I'm here, and I'm gonna be testing out Lunar Client's new rewind mod. Or well, I say new. It's been out for I think about 2 months at this point, a month or two. And I wanted to check it out. And the reason I wanted to check it out and make a video talking about it is specifically because I was playing some bridge earlier and I was using Rewind to collect some clips, and this happened where, for whatever reason, I hope this actually shows up in the freaking thing now because there's a chance that it doesn't. But for whatever reason, the connected textures just completely made this bug out. And if I actually get some glass too, and I put this here, also get some red. For whatever reason, these specifically, the wool would be fine. Hopefully that stays. Yeah, if you're curious, it doesn't. Just now, because it's just kind of basic stuff. Long story short, you might notice this, and this will come back up later. I say that the wool is fine. The wool is not fine. Why is the wool not fine? I have no clue. My best guess, as far as I can tell, is that it has something to do with connected textures. The issue with it being that that is not consistent. So I don't actually know if it's connected textures. I don't know if it has something to do with height overlays. I don't know if it has something to do with the opacity of blocks, even because you can see it's glass and wool, which I don't know if wool has like an opacity or anything, but if so, the height overlay on the clay, a lot of stuff. I don't know why this is. It's really annoying, but also, if we go back 10 seconds here into my, not this, into my other folder, and I take out Telly's 100 pack. Yeah, you notice that stops, and you'll also notice I talk about switching to Telly's 100K pack. Why did I choose to do that? Well, in the thing I was talking about earlier where I was getting clips for Bridge, I was actually making a video about my favorite packs to use in the Bridge, and Telly's 100K pack is specifically Black Sandstone. Happens to be one of my favorites. So I was using it. I think the three I was using were Core 16X, Bonsai 16X, and Telly's 100K pack. And two of those did not work. It was Core and Bonsai. I'm talking about those two specifically, and you'll see why. Um, but Telly worked perfectly. Now, I had video of this, but this sort of gets into another issue I will explain later on why I don't anymore. But this leads to another thing, which is not picking up my mic anymore. This is a thing that happens in Lunar sometimes. I get random audio problems. Normally, I just take off the texture pack, put it back on, it works fine. Worst case scenario, unplug and plug back in my mic. But this doesn't do anything because I didn't know it was happening. And I'm so glad I did this. In the original, this is just me kind of talking about the only downside I feel of this pack, which is that the wool and the clay are the exact same color. But actually, or not exact same color, exact same texture, you can even see here. These are literally the same textures. They are in Telly's 100K packs, black and white. They are literally the same textures. But for whatever reason, this happens. I don't know why. I have literally no clue why, but it does happen, and it is very, very annoying. And here, I'm trying to figure it out. I decided to switch to a pack because running theory at this point was Okay, it has to do with connected textures. What pack do I have that doesn't have connected textures? Oh, Manhole IQ 70k pack, Celestial 128. I'm pretty sure that doesn't have textures, or connected textures. And does that fix anything? Who knows? Let's see. Alright, let's go. Let's try out. No. No, it doesn't fix anything. In fact, arguably, this is even worse. Because now, it's everything. All of the glass, all of the clay, all of the wool. Just nothing. I do not know why. I cannot for the life of me tell. Maybe someone who knows more about this type of stuff. I'm actually going to stop here because I was actually like really proud of this, that I got this kill. I didn't think I would. But I don't, I don't know. No. Very, very frustrating. Biggest issue with this, in my opinion. But then, we kind of got what we need here. But then, I'm going to go over to a different pack. This is Bonsai 16X. I specifically mentioned this pack earlier, if you remember. I mentioned it for a reason. Because this was one of the ones that did not work. But now, is working perfectly in this. I have quite literally zero clue why. I do not understand anything about this. It is inconsistent based on not only the pack itself, but even based on when you're using the pack. Like I don't know. And then uh, I'm like thinking about it. I'm talking to myself, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's specifically bridge, because at this point I hadn't seen any of the other stuff. I'd only seen it when I played bridge. Maybe it's something to do with specifically the bridge duel mode. I don't know why on earth that would be, but maybe. So I go here. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to get to height limit. I know that Bonsai has a height overlay, and no, works perfectly. And like I said, I don't know why, because I did this before, and it didn't work. I don't know what possibly maybe could have changed, like, at all, if I'm being honest. Um, this guy, like, proceeds to completely freaking own me, if you guys, if you guys want to see that, he completely demolishes me. Um, but that's what it is. I did write some stuff. I go here. I just wrote some pretty basic things. The actual recording was fine. There was no FPS drops. I was monitoring my CPU and my RAM. Nothing happened there. It is built into Lunar Client, which is really cool. If you've ever used like replay mod on Bad Lion or as a standalone mod, if you've ever used the newer mod Flashback, or I think there's even another newer one that like some like content creators and stuff use. I don't know what that one's called. Um, that's really cool, and it would be nice if this works. Also, one thing, it separates everything by default because it is separately recording your screen and your audio. Everything is separated by default, which is really good. You don't have to like click an extra button or whatever. Then we have like the pretty obvious cons. The biggest one is the visual glitches. And more importantly, I'm actually gonna add this to the list right under visual glitches because I think it is just as important. Inconsistency. Every pack I used in this video, I used before. I used with Rewind before. I used in Bridge before. I used on other means before. Like OBS and even other mods like replay and flashback and other stuff. I've used them, and there were always issues, but there were always consistent issues. And if you think about it like Java versus Minecraft Redstone. If you're like a Redstone fan, Java Redstone is buggy as heck, but we rely on those bugs because those bugs are consistent. Bedrock Redstone changes. There's inconsistency. Things change that you probably don't want changed. At least I wouldn't. And these are the two biggest ones. If these two got fixed, I could legitimately recommend Rewind. As it stands right now, I can't because of those two things. If they were fixed, it wouldn't be an issue. Because the thing is, it is cool that Rewind is an editor as well as a recorder. I did not expect it to be a very good editor. I expected something on the level of like Microsoft Clipchamp, maybe maybe a CapCut, honestly, something very easy, very simple. And it is that. And that is good. Simple is good. It means more people can do it. You don't need a Premiere Pro or a Sony Vegas or a DaVinci Resolve. You don't need those things. They are nice. They're cool. Cool. I've used all three of them, and I have DaVinci Resolve literally installed on this computer right now. So clearly I like it. But they aren't necessary. But even as an editor, it constantly freezes. It constantly crashes. Do you press play and pause too quick? It'll crash. Do you put stuff on the timeline too fast? It'll freeze or it'll crash. Do you want to render a video? It's going to be slow and it's probably going to freeze while you're doing it, and there's a chance it'll crash while you're doing it. All of these things happen to me. As for calling it slow, when things don't freeze, they are still sluggish. And like I said, this is in Minecraft. Minecraft itself is not terribly optimized. It is famously one of the most unoptimized games ever. It is pretty famously still running single threaded in the big year 2025, although as far as I know the newest updates are hoping to change that, which cool, happy, could have done it 10 years ago. Next one is very few file formats supported. Here's the story of the recording I was talking about before. So if you use OBS to record, you probably have it output into either MKV or MP4. Those are just the two most popular ones. And I am an idiot, which is very important. I'm stupid. I went, oh, this supports MP3 because it doesn't support MP4. It supports MP3. Okay, I'll just convert this from MP4 to MP3. Some people already understand where I went wrong. If you don't get it, MP3 is audio only. Standard MP3 is audio only. It has a ton of different audio formats that it supports, but no video ones besides its own .rewind. Well, .rewind is used in literally nothing else. So it means that you have to, I don't know, convert everything to .rewind, I guess, or do what I ended up doing, which was exporting everything, which takes you back to how slow this thing is. To render and export into MP4, that little 5-minute clip in the beginning took about 20 minutes. To do the same for the however long this is, 10-minute clip was about an hour. And that's just, regular 60 frames a second, 1080p. Not anything, hugely demanding or anything. I feel like a lot of these are because it's built into Lunar Client, and thus it's all Java and Minecraft based, and like I said, not very optimized. Last one, which I'm fine with, but I feel like some people are going to have an issue with this, because Rewind is not going to be for a power user. Zero way. No one who's like a serious, like hardcore content creator is going to use Rewind, probably. I thought I might use it because I am not a serious content creator. I just like to screw around and play Bed Wars. But everything is keyboard based, except for about 4 buttons. You can import audio. Yeah, well, basically just import audio. It says import media, but basically just audio. Import media is a button that opens a file picker. Cut, which is like snip, it separates one clip into 2 clips. That has a button. Unlink, which just detaches your audio from your video so that they don't function as one thing, they function as 2 separate ones. That's a button. And Fit to Timeline is a button that honestly I do not understand why you would ever click it more than once. Because, at least for me, I don't see a reason to need to see exactly 3 to 4 seconds of my timeline. I don't think that's useful. And it does not move with the marker. It's just at the beginning and it stays there and it does not move. move, and it actually led to me thinking I was crazy a couple of times. So, at the end, most people probably aren't going to be like super keyboard centric, but if they are, then cool. Overall, like I said, if you fix these two things, I think Rewind would be good, but it's not because of those two things. As actual like recording, it is cool. I have a little conspiracy theory for this too. I think the only reason they added an editor was because other mods are doing it. Mods like Flashback have a built-in editor that you go, take a flashback or a replay recording, then you open it and you can actually edit it somewhat, and you can do even like cinematics from within the game. And I think they thought that was cool. I do not know if any of these are just me issues, because quite honestly, I have not seen really anyone else talk about Rewind outside of just the announcement that it happened on Lunar Client. And I think it has the potential to be good. I would like for it to be good because I would like to use it. I think it would be dope. But until then, I guess I'm sticking with OBS and DaVinci Resolve and way too complicated stuff for what I do, which is mostly nothing. I think that's it for everything. Fix these two things. Seriously, I'm gonna keep harping on it. Fix these two things. Anyway, that is everything, and I'll see you, I guess. Ciao.